Good morning, everybody. This is Kira with Navigator. Welcome to this week's edition of the Fireside Chat. All right, well, we are at 11:01. As a few more folks may continue to trickle in, we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, just one more time, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time with us, thank you for joining. We really appreciate you being here. For the next 20 to 30 minutes, we are going to spend some time together talking about all things merchant services and payments industry to help people in our profession stay connected, informed, and inspired. So before we kick off today, we wanted to do a quick community check-in and just see how our users are doing out there in the field. So if anybody has a quick success story or a way that they used Navigator recently to close a deal, or just something that's helped them with their operations lately, we'll just pause for a quick question to see if anybody wants to jump in with a quick story. Ben, I see you went green. Do you have something? Oh, you might be frozen.
Sure, I'll volunteer. Down here in Nashville, Tennessee. Sorry, can you hear me okay? Am I right? All right, I'm down here in Nashville, Tennessee. I run a company called Smart and Secure. I've been in the merchant services business for 20 years. As you can see, I'm not wearing my tie at the moment. I'm out here in the middle of mowing my field, but when I was given an opportunity to join the Fireside Chat, I dropped everything to come in and see what everybody's up to. So I've got a pretty big portfolio, and I don't have the time to be running out into the field. That's actually an ironic statement, isn't it? But out to see my actual clients in the cities. So Navigator helps me automate some of the processes that cost me the most time and really cost me the most money. Just being able to rely on the artificial intelligence to be able to do the part of our job that we all hate the most, which is the statement analysis, has just really been fantastic, and has saved me tons of time and tons of headache, especially when I'm bringing on new teammates who don't know anything about statements. It just takes that entire workload off of me. And Navigators allowed me to be able to get my field cut.
Awesome, thank you so much. It is something that a lot of our users love, is getting some of that valuable time back in your pocket to do whatever it is that you need to do. So thank you for that, really appreciate you sharing. Anybody else willing to share just a quick success story or anything that happened with them this week with Navigator, or a way that it's impacted your business? Saw a couple of you just jumped on the line. I know Pete is out there. Pete will a lot of times grace us with a comment. I don't know if he's available.
Yes, I am. Hang on, let me get my camera working here. Boom. Oh, it's doing something. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Hey, looks like you got your hair done, Kara. Is that right?
I just pulled it back. I haven't been able to get it yet, but it's getting too long. Thanks for noticing. I appreciate it.
I'm an expert on those things. Yeah, actually, Ian had reached out to me earlier. I had a very, very big prospect come to me, which I did not win. And I started thinking, you know what? It could have taken me hours and hours and hours. Navigator saved me the time I would have spent analyzing that statement. I have this partner with a grocery store system, which I'm sure I've talked about, that's keeping me, actually my numbers in my portfolio are at record numbers and just going like crazy. But my average customer in that realm is a single location with 2, 3, 4 checkout lanes. This prospect that came to me, Ben's going to laugh, both Ben and I are going to laugh when I talk about this. 3 locations with 26 lanes. It's absolutely huge. The margins on it are about a penny per transaction. My average is like 6 cents per transaction. This guy owns a $3 million airplane, drives a BMW. I was talking to him about value. Hey, I drive a Toyota. What do you drive? A BMW. He is super, super, super. This goes into the realm of business, where is it a mutual thing, or does somebody exploit the other? He went with his bank, who is going to find ways to make money, because this is not a profitable account. But anyway, using Navigator, Ian helped me out to get an analysis done in minutes that could have taken hours and hours, and would have been even more frustrating because I didn't win the deal. So in the end, with all those side comments, probably not winning the deal. It's not a profitable account, probably going to be very high maintenance. So getting to the point of here's my offer very quickly on something that I didn't get anyway was really cool. So final answer, pretty cool.
Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Pete. That is really interesting that even when you didn't close the deal, there is still some
Right.
reward there again in that time saved. So yeah, thanks for sharing that insight. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that lowered. I was going to say one more. That lowered the frustration. It's crazy to say this, but I'm probably way better off not getting that deal just because of the way he runs his margins and blah blah blah. But the lack of frustration because I didn't have to spend that 8 or however many hours analyzing the what out of it. So, all right, thank you.
Awesome. No, thank you. Very much appreciated. Again, anybody else before we dive into kind of the meat of our chat today? Anybody else? Pause for just one moment. Okay, then we will go ahead and get into it. So if some of you guys have been with us week over week, you know that we kind of change up our focus. A lot of times, and especially in the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've been doing some training, rolling out some information about new features of the platform. But today we are switching it up a little bit because something else that we love to do during these chats are hear from industry insiders, experts, customers, hear kind of what's going on in the world out there of payments and merchant services. And today we are chatting with Michelle from Certify. So Michelle is down on the bottom left there. Michelle, thank you for being with us today. We really appreciate it. And I'm going to get us started just with a really simple first question, put us all on the same page. Michelle, can you tell us about Certify, which is a company you work for, and what is your role with that company?
Sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you, Michelle.
Okay, perfect. Having a little bit of a sound issue. So Certify has been around over 10 years. We are an electronic payment processing platform. We have about 10,000 customers in 135 countries. And what we do is we allow our customers to collect electronic signatures, payments, and authorizations, all online, a cloud-based product. And our retention rate is about 95%. And we have a lot of the major chains in the hotel hospitality industry, including Marriott and Hyatt and Hilton. We also have customers outside of hospitality like Career Builder, Pitney Bowes, Topgolf, Dave & Buster's. So that's what we've done in the past. We've recently added a new solution, which is called Certify Pay, and it allows our customers to actually take it a step further. And we allow them to process on our platform as well, which is how I met you all.
Yeah, that's so cool. Since there's some very fun clients in there, you know, some of those bigger corporations, I've heard of many of those. They sound like a fun group. Can you also share with the group, what is your role with Certify? What do you do for the company?
Sure. I'm the Vice President of Strategic Accounts. So we have about 20 folks dedicated to sales and marketing, and they go out into the industry, not only hospitality, but, top 100, top 500 companies. And I manage all the accounts that are larger than 20 properties or 20, business outlets.
Very cool. So you're a busy lady, I would imagine.
Yeah. I enjoy talking to our customers and have worked in the industry of hospitality over 20 years. So working with a lot of the chain accounts over that time.
That's awesome. That actually kind of leads into my next question. I'm wondering if you could share with us how you got started in the payments industry, because from what I've learned from others, you know, just across the field and who I've met through Navigator, a lot of times people had either a different career beforehand, a different life, you know, so we're just curious if you could share, how did you come into the payments industry?
Sure. So I started out in point of sale. I worked with McDonald's. I worked for Panasonic. So I was I had a good understanding of credit card processing and how that integrated with point of sale systems. And then I moved into hotels. And at that point, I started working with a lot of gateway providers like Shift4, Elavon, Freedom Pay, Merchant Link. And so for a long time, probably over the last 15 years, I worked with those gateway providers in regards to integration into property management, point of sale systems, spa systems. And then in the last 3 to 5 years, I've really moved more into processing. And so understanding how you look at customer statements for the credit cards, how they're charged for the transactions they process. And that's what brought me here.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. My next question for you then, and you kind of slightly touched on this, but I'm wondering if you could just spell it out for us. How did you find out about Fee Navigator? How did you get interested in them? Who connected you? How did you find out about us?
Yeah, so when I started and we were introducing certified pay, my experience prior to this had been manually having to analyze every customer statement, right? If somebody's looking to change processors, move over to our processing platform. And our partner Payrex introduced us to you guys and said, hey, I think they can save you a lot of time and money. So that's how I met you.
Great. We are so glad you're here, and we're glad that you've been able to utilize the platform with some success. So specifically, what was your process before you signed on with Fee Navigator? What did that look like?
Yeah, so we always try to get 2 or 3 months of statements from a customer or a prospective customer for their credit card processing. And in our world, we're really focused on e-commerce. So the e-commerce piece of it for us is processing those payments that they would take in a sales and catering department, say in a hotel. So you have a big event coming in, they're going to book all the rooms, all the events. Maybe that's a credit card payment is due of, $30,000. And it may be over 2 different payments or more, depending on the terms. So when we got into processing, we would get their statements, but then we'd have to look at the statement, have to understand the credit card mix, the volume, their interchange fees, try to figure out what their current blended rate is. And so then we could see, would we be able to move them over to our processing and save them money ideally. So I was doing all that manually, and I was the only person doing it for our whole team. So, on any given day, I might be receiving 3 or 4 different requests to analyze these statements, which is time consuming, tedious, and tends to lend itself to making mistakes.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Makes total sense.
Free time.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, one of the major benefits that, again, we hear from a lot of folks is the time that you're saving. Are there any other benefits that you've come across? Or if that's the big one, what can you do with your time now that you're not crunching statements manually?
Well, I'm able to give my team more coaching. I'm able to be more responsive to our customers. So when they provide the statements, what happens now, I go onto the portal for Fee Navigator, and within 5 minutes, I have everything I need. And I can basically go back to the customer the same day, and I can show them, here's your blended rate over 3 months. Here's how we've analyzed your statements. Here's your volume. Here's what we think we could save you based on the rates we could offer for processing. So it's really been it has enabled me and our company to provide a higher level of customer service and responsiveness.
Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Well, thanks for giving us kind of that background on, on you and how you use Fee Navigator. I want to zoom out a little bit because I know you've been in the industry for a long time and probably have a lot of, guidance and maybe support that you can give some of us on the call. So my kind of first big picture question for you is the magic wand question. You guys might be familiar with this question, but if you had a magic wand that you could wave and you could have anything in the anything in the world happen, what would you like to see happen in the industry, and how can Fee Navigator help us get there?
Yeah, I think, it's interesting. I have all this experience, but I want to say to you all, I started when I was 12. I'm kidding. I'm a little bit older than that. But so if I had a magic wand, I think one of the challenges in hospitality, and specifically other verticals as well have this, is that we are slow to adopt. So hotels are very slow to adopt. Restaurants will keep their point of sale systems for years and years. So some of that has been a result of the lack of awareness of technology that could help them move forward. So if I had a magic wand, what I'd like to do is have companies like yours and even our company at Certify have more awareness in the industry. Because I think when you get that awareness, people can see, oh, this can really open up my life, can make it easier for me, can save me money, can help me service my customers better, or invest the cost I might be spending on higher level processing in improving the guest experience or my customer experience. So to me, it's all about awareness. And I love the internet, but I also think that, you know, as you Google things, you find so much. So it's like trying to streamline what you're really looking for to be able to access those tools that can help you.
Yeah, really good insights. I've shared this before on the chats, but everything you're saying is ringing so true to me. I worked in hospitality for a couple of years before I transitioned into other things. And I was a restaurant manager in charge, you know, as in a corporation, also in family-owned, you know, operations later down the road, and had no idea that this was something I should care about. You know, I just didn't, you know, and I thought I was educated, a good manager, and on top of my budget, my margins, I didn't know I should care. So it really wasn't something that even as a manager in charge of a budget that I really had an awareness of. So I really appreciate that. That insight definitely was right there, and can confirm. So thank you for that. Our last kind of question for you before we kind of maybe talk back to our audience or hear from our founders today who are on the call is, can you share with our audience one piece of career or industry advice to kind of close out the session today?
Sure. I think I appreciate you sending me that question ahead of time. I was really trying to think about what I would pull in. And for me, it would be to be curious, to always keep learning, to like approach things as you would as a child, you know, with that wonder and the possibility. Because I think as we are in a business or work for a company for a long time, we may think, oh, I have the answers, I know what to do. And I was so pleasantly surprised to learn about your solution, and it's really made my life so much better. And I didn't know about it before. So again, I was thinking to myself, I want to keep being that curious and keep looking for ways to improve my life.
Very well spoken. Thank you so much, Michelle. We really appreciate you being with us today and taking time to share your insights and give these questions some thought. I found it very enjoyable. I think probably the rest of the group did too. So this time I actually want to take a moment to turn it over to anybody else who is on the call today if they have any other questions for Michelle. And if not, we will pivot over and check in with our founders, see if there's anything they want to add. But before we do that, anybody from the group, any questions for Michelle? No? Okay. You're off the hook then. So I'm going to just check in real quickly with Ion and Adrian, who are on the call with us today, co-founders of Navigator. Wondering if there's anything that you guys want to add or any other questions that you have for Michelle that maybe I didn't answer. So Ion, Adrian, anything from the two of you today?
I can start, Kira. Thank you, Michelle. And actually now I understand why we connected so well, because I'm a curious person and I'm always asking questions. Like, sometimes I get in trouble for asking too many questions. And I believe that's the secret of my success. I always look for new ways to improve. Even if I'm an expert and I know how things are going and how to analyze statements, I always look for a way to make my life easier and save time, because we all know that time is our most important asset, and that's one thing we cannot buy. So if somebody tells me it's going to save me time, I'll go and learn more about it. And thank you, Michelle, for being on this call. We're so excited to service your company, and I'm here for you anytime you need me. So I'll let Adrian to continue from here if there's anything to add.
Thank you. You've been great.
Yeah, so thank you, Michelle, again. And look, something that we tend to forget is, like, we're really young company. We turned on our solution at the end of October last year, like, November, and ours is an AI system. So the amount of learning that's been placed into the platform since then has been phenomenal, and it continues to increase at a very fast pace. So if anybody here on the call has not experienced yet the automated padding extraction and interchange optimization, we get just like big wows from folks that do those. And as more and more folks are engaging and running statements through the platform, we're running at about 70%, more than 70%, about 72% full automation of statements. But we're hoping that as we do more and more statements, we can up that. So that way, literally, you put a statement in and it's done in 10 seconds. So again, thank you, Michelle, for being a customer. It's very fun looking at your statements. They're a little bit on the bigger side versus, kind of what we see. But yeah, just wanted to express our gratitude for everybody here on the call, and be in touch for a lot of cool things that we continue to add to the platform as it evolves. So that's what I want to say. Thank you.
Great. Thank you to both of you, Ion, Adrian. Thank you again, Michelle. Just again, before we wrap, we typically wrap. We try to stick right to 11:30. We're a few minutes early today. No worries there. While we're here, anybody have any questions for the founders? We grilled Michelle. She's done. She's off limits. But if anybody has any questions for Ion or Adrian, we'll just pause for a moment before we wrap.
This is Dustin. I have a question regarding, since it is an AI system, is it learning, or are you taking statements and finding the ones that aren't automatically, need assistance or something like that? Are you going in there and seeing why it needs, how is it learning, I guess?
Sure, I'll take this answer. So we use AI to recognize the statement types, James. So as statements come in, AI looks at it and says, okay, well, this is a first data north statement. And then we pair a custom-made algorithm for that sort of statement that then knows how to interpret the data that the AI pulled out and like how to produce that Excel analysis. So as you'll notice, so there's this concept called, GAI, the Generalized Artificial Intelligence. And that's the holy grail. And the AI systems that are in place right now are supervised machine learning, most of them. They're actually the ones that have produced results that you can kind of see, like Siri, Alexa, Google, they're all supervised machine learning. And the way that works is that there is a body of knowledge that is being tagged by humans. So Google got smart. So if you saw like reCAPTCHA version 3, the one that comes up and says, hey, recognize the dogs in this picture, or like, hey, recognize the cars in this picture, or crossroads, all of that. So that's a mechanism for Google to ask for tagging from humans. And then you accumulate a lot of this information, and then the AI is able to say, okay, well, this looks like this, right? So when it comes to merging statements, when you drop a statement in, AI looks at it and says like, well, this looks like it's a First Data Omaha, or First Data North, or it's a American Express, or it's a Chase statement, that kind of stuff. So that's the human and the technology working together to do the labeling. And then again, we have specific algorithms that plug into that statement type that AI discovered and proceed from there. Did that answer the question, James?
Yeah, that helps a lot. And so basically, like First Data North, as they've switched to a different statement style, with the new information added to it, you guys, I'm assuming, capture that, and then the human eye is then pointing out, okay, this is the difference on this one, and you're triggering that based on the date or something like that, and then the machine's going to learn from there. Basically, is kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Manual at first, but machine learns from that.
So we tag it first. Let's say it's a new statement that we have not seen before. We tag that, and then we add it to the AI model. So that way, next time it comes in, it's being recognized as that type. And then there's a specific algorithm that knows how to operate on that model that was just created. And as we go forward, if we sometimes may come across something that we either don't process quite right, it's rare, but every now and then we can come across something like that. then we have a mechanism to tweak that algorithm or tweak the AI to get to the results that we want.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for the question. Really appreciate it. Again, anybody else? Any questions for Ion or Adrian before we wrap up today? We'll pause for just a moment.
So I am quite a bit like Ion and Michelle, where I ask too many questions and make meetings go really long. But I do have another question. One thing I noticed, is you put one MID and 1 month on there, and I know Adrian, you've helped me with like looking at when I've done too many. Usually when I get statements, it might be, for instance, multi-location, so like a university or health system, something like that, where I might have 15 MIDs for one statement. Is there a viewpoint in the future where you could go from like a headquarter type MID and base it on analysis on that? Is that like down the road future kind of idea to take multiple statements for one real organization instead of separating those individually?
Yeah, so I'll take this answer. We believe in simplicity. So when you experience Fee Navigator, we want you to experience something that it just works. It's a work in progress because this is very complex, as you know. This is not something that is easy. It takes a lot of technical know-how and a lot of industry knowledge buried together to make that happen. But something that we have come across from customers is we see statements that are these combined. So in one PDF, you have like multiple months, or you have multiple mids. We haven't split them now, but that is something that we will be looking at into the future, because our philosophy, what we try to create for the industry, is something that just works. You drop it, and then we like, okay, well, it looks like it's multiple statements in one. Let's split them and let's submit them together. If it's multiple mids, then we would have to essentially create multiple sort of customers and run, that's what we call them, multiple merchants, and sort of run them in parallel and give you, instead of like one row of data back, maybe like 10 or 15. So we have to think about how that experience is going to play out, because it has to be intuitive. So if we find that it's not intuitive enough, it's not complex, it's too complex, we kind of shy away and try to accumulate more information and more discussions. Did that answer the question, James?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. Again, we have about 1 or 2 more minutes. If anybody else has a question, again, we are here for you. So we'll pause for just one moment to see if there are any other questions from the audience. Okay, so with that, we will wrap up our fireside chat for today. Again, thank you to Michelle for being our special guest today. We appreciate you being here. Thank you to everybody for taking time out of your busy day to come and sit around the campfire here with us and continue to stay connected and stay informed and inspired. So we will see you in 2 weeks. We are here every other week. If you have not signed up for our notifications, you can do so on Fee Navigator's website. We look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great rest of your day.